Hey guys, welcome back to the TohirT channel. TohirT here. I hope you had a fantastic week. I know no one really asked this question, or at least I have not seen this particular topic really coming up anywhere recently, but last time I checked, we're still all in partial or full lockdown mode. We're still probably and unfortunately will spend a few months indoors, and since HBO Max is now live, we finally, for the first time, have an opportunity to watch all three major franchises like this and almost binge through them in a couple of months. But which one do you start with? Which one is the most bingeable out of the all three? Well, you're about to find out. Let's do this! I frequently talk about different interesting and random topics all the way through the internet. I talk about different items for you to keep yourself occupied, to keep yourself fully developed, or to just test your creativity and your boundaries. Check out this playlist over here for more details and more content, which is not necessarily as more of a professional development as the other ones on this channel. Well, to start with the format of this video, I will go fully spoiler free. So no spoiler warnings, we're good to go. There won't be any plotlines discussions, as well as I will not necessarily review every single movie in that particular franchise. That's gonna be a lot. We're like scratching above 40s in terms of the number of movies we have to watch. I'm not gonna do that. Instead, I'm gonna go through each franchise separately. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the world, a little bit about the upsides and downsides of watching the entire series together. And at the end, I do have a favorite. I'll remain unbiased through the rest of them, and we will find out whether you agree with me and whether you think this is time for you to go and start watching, because I'll keep this video short. We have anywhere between 8 to 24 movies to start watching. Opening with an easy one, Star Wars. There's a lot going on in there, not only because of the plot lines. How do I put it? Let's say if we were to visualize the experience that you will have if you are to watch all the movies in a chronological order, you will have this nice bell curve shaped experience. The reason why I say this in this particular discussion, I consider the Star Wars movies the original trilogy, the prequels, the sequel, the new trilogy, as well as Rogue One and Solo movies. And if I would plot them chronologically, you will start with the prequels, which you will cringe. While watching Phantom Menace, you will cringe. Then the experience will get better as you go into the Attack of the Clones and the Revenge of the Sith. Then it will dip a little bit because you're gonna have to watch Solo movie, which not as terrible as people advertise it is. And this is not, I promise not to review every single movie, but let's say Solo is not as bad as people advertise. Then your experience will definitely go up with Rogue One, which to me is like right up there with the original trilogy in terms of the quality of the movie. From then on, you're gonna have a blast watching the original trilogy. There is a reason why it captured the imagination and the minds of people all over the world. And then from then on out, once you hit Force Awakens, the new trilogy, unfortunately it's a downhill from there. I enjoy the worlds. It's really fun world to entertain. It's fun to watch how the technologies change. It's fun to see how some of the characters that you will witness developing throughout the entire franchise have those ups and downs. And they're not always preconceived ups and downs. They're also the lack of that cohesion in the storytelling. That's going to be the biggest gap for you to get over. But once you ignore that portion for a second, you ignore some plot holes of the size of the Rancor in some movies like Solo. That was a small Star Wars reference for you fans out there. You will enjoy the entire complexity of that masterpiece. And I'm pretty sure if you're going to watch it with your family and the kids, you're going to leave your kids with that additional, creative juice in their mind. That thought process about what would the galaxy far, far away really look like. Time to talk about MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. Where do you start with MCU? There's a lot going on. There's about 24 movies in MCU universe. Iron Man 1 and onwards, this is what I consider a Marvel Cinematic Universe. And well, there's a lot going on in there, also from the perspective of the differences in the quality and the plot lines and genres and things that you will witness. You have your amazing villains, very well written, the best villains probably in a lot of movies out there. And then you have your cringe-worthy villains that are truly comic book villains that were written back in 60s and kind of like remain there in terms of their development. There will be amazing, beautiful plot lines, and there will be plot lines with huge gaping holes in them and lack of cohesion between some of those conveniences that happen throughout the movie that just help our main characters. But overall, I have a blast whenever I watch any of the MCU movies. The two peaks, so to speak, in that entire universe's development happens around the Russo Brothers, the two directors who happen to direct the Winter Soldier and the Civil War, so the two parts of the Captain America story, and then they came back for the Infinity conclusion, the Infinity War, and the Endgame. So when I think about those four movies in total, they're amazing. All four of them are tremendous work of achievement of all of those 20-something movies building up those plotline stories towards the big conclusion. The downside is exactly that conclusion. And when you watch Winter Soldier, you'll be fine. But when you start watching the Civil War and you start watching the Infinity War and the Endgame, if you do not have seen some of those major movies about major characters within the Avengers, you will be lost. There will be new characters thrown in your face and flying in your face literally on screen. There'll be new facts referring to events that happen in the other movies. There'll be plot lines that were continuation of something that started in one of those movies that you've missed. So I cannot even imagine being the person who does not know anything about Marvel and does not know much about what happened in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that Disney owned. So I would suggest, if you are planning to watch the Infinity War and the Endgame, you really kind of have to go and watch all those 20-something movies before. And then when it comes to the downside, it's hard to call a failure any of the movies on that list, but I must say the one that I least enjoyed, and I really tried hard to enjoy it, was the Captain Marvel. I really wanted Captain Marvel to be that it movie, especially because she's essentially the person who is technically carrying over the entire franchise going forward as the main protagonist. But let's put it that way. I really hope, and I'm pretty confident, that the sequel will surpass this original movie in every single way. And when it comes to watching it and binging it with your family or with your kids, these movies are perfect, and the visuals and the stories still hold up pretty well. A few years now, 10 plus years into the MCU. So definitely you will enjoy it, as well as I did recently when I rewatched it with my 4-year-old. Harry Potter. Yes, we're talking about only 8 movies. I'm not taking into account Mr. Scamander's Travel, although I quite enjoy at least the first one. The second one, we're not talking about it. But overall, 8 main movies in the story about Harry Potter. And if you do not know who Harry Potter is, I do envy the isolation of the rock that you live under, but it's also probably because for my generation, Harry Potter was really that franchise, that medium that everyone consumed, whether it was in the book or the movie format. On this list, this is the most consistent series. I cannot even say that there's a particular movie that dipped too far down below everyone else. They had multiple different directors handling, from Chris Columbus to Alfonso Cuarón to David Yates, and I'm forgetting someone. I'm forgetting one of the directors, but it doesn't matter. The idea is that throughout multiple directors, they maintained the quality, they maintained the plot, they did a great job, even though they cut certain things from the books, to represent the original story that J.K. Rowling wrote. That concluded with a 2-part series of movies to wrap everything up and tell us the full story of Harry Potter and his time at Hogwarts and outside of that school. Mages, Quidditch, teenage drama, it has it all. The consistency is a huge plus of this series, as well as the quality of production, the cast. Everyone did brilliant job. The only negative I can think of is some people did not like them splitting the 7th book into 2 movies, which I'm completely on board with. I know it was a cash grab. I know Warner Brothers tried to make money and all that fun stuff because they were running out of essentially the series, but I was fine with that because it gave the plot room to breathe and it allowed them to conclude the show in a very good manner where everyone got their conclusion. Every single plot line that we've seen before was taken to that logical end. Yes, I'm looking at you, Game of Thrones. Disappointment. But when it comes to the downside, the only downside I can think of is really the fact that you cannot watch just randomly these movies unless you've seen them before. If you've never seen Harry Potter, you've never read the books, you have to start at the very beginning and you have to watch them in the chronological order. But afterwards, I just literally this weekend watched half of the Half-Blood Prince. I know, ironic. On the TV because I was just sitting there playing with my kids. It was on the TV and I was like, hey, my kids will probably enjoy it. Let's keep it on. And it was a blast. For those of you who are concerned, you do not need to read the books in order to enjoy it. Books help books really give you some ideas about some of the things that were happening that they did not show in the movies. But overall, you can enjoy the entire 8 movie series and then come back to the books. You can start with the books, enjoy the movies, or you can flip in between the both until you figure out which version of the story is your favorite. But at the end of the day, J.K. Rowling did an amazing job. I am thankful to her for keeping it together up until the point when she actually wrapped it up. Because yeah, that lady, she's been doing some stuff lately. So I'm just happy that 8 movies. We got 8 movies. They're in a good quality and they're definitely something for you worth checking. Have you seen all these franchises on my list? Do you have your favorite? Did I miss any of the other franchises? Lord of the Rings, anyone? That should have made it to this list? Let me know and share your thoughts and opinions on which one you would start binging in the section below. And this is all that I have for you guys this week. If I am to pick the one that I would binge straight up like through the week, or can you even watch them through the weekend? You probably can. If you really go like hero strides, you can probably watch all 8 movies in the same weekend. I would pick Harry Potter. I think, as I've said several times, it is the most consistent one. It's the most cohesive one, which makes sense. You have a single character trailing his story through several years. I get it. From perspective of the execution, the entire series is amazing. And overall, I also have heard the rumor that they're working on a very high quality, like a third-person video game in a Harry Potter universe, which supposedly will build up on all that experience that the creators had recently in all the amazing video games. They've been almost like Oscar nomination worthy plot stories, and you add all the latest technology, the release of the new consoles coming up in a year or so. So there is a lot of interesting things that might happen when Warner Brothers, they will decide to reintroduce a lot of the people in this new generation to the Harry Potter universe, and I, for one, would be super excited about it. Thank you very much, guys, for stopping by. If you're new to this channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and check out the videos in the backlog. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you very much for stopping by. As always, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about this video, and I will see you all next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, on this very channel. Fair heads up, in case I missed some huge topics, some big news that you would think I'd talk about during the next week or so, well, I'm actually recording 2 videos back to back because when this video is out, it's going to be on 4th of July, on the eve of the 4th of July. So I'm going to be enjoying my time with the family. My youngest one is turning 1, so I decided that let me go through the next few days and just record 2 brief videos, edit them, publish them, and not worry about for the next couple of weeks, and just rest, relax, do some yard work, which I'm not super excited about, leave some room for that creative juice to build up a little bit more, and yeah, back to the regular programming without skipping a beat yet again in another couple of weeks in this studio, recording yet another video for you guys. Until then, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.